everyone, beautiful artists, and welcome back to another episode of Paint Along with Skye. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Skye and I post beginning level acrylic painting tutorials here on YouTube every Saturday. So make sure to hit subscribe so you can join the fun and paint along, and don't forget to hit that bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Alright, so back after a little break. Things are a little hectic here in the United States, but I have a nice, calm, relaxing, tropical painting for us to focus on today and have just a moment of respite. Appreciate my international audience hanging in there with us too. I'm going to use my 3 standard brushes for today's painting. So I have my large square wash brush, a medium-sized pointed brush, and a small detail brush. Gonna get those in the water cup off the side of the screen. If you'd like to see a full materials list of everything that I use and recommend, go ahead and check the description box below. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in. So we're gonna start just with the background step here, and all I have is just some red and white together, and it's gonna be a really simple first step in that we're just going to mix up this nice background color and fill our whole canvas in with that color. I'm using pink, so red and white together. But if you would like to use a different color, you're certainly welcome to. This is totally customizable. However, I like the contrast between the pink and the green of the leaves that we're going to add later. So those are actually what's called complementary colors. More about that in my Color Theory 101 course, which there's a link to my website below, skyepratt.com. You can click courses and check that out if you'd like to learn more about complementary color schemes and how to blend colors. But you can really do whatever color background you like, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get this all solid and filled in with pink, and then we'll come back with the next step. So you guys get the point. I'll see you in a second. Okay, welcome back, artists. We have a completely dry background here, all filled in with my background color of pink, and then I have some fresh colors on my piece of palette paper here. Fair amount of white, little bit of phthalo green, some yellow, and a warm burnt sienna type brown. This is going to be sort of an in-between step here. This painting will be done in 3 steps. So we're gonna do this mid-layer next with our medium-sized brush. And we are going to do palm fronds really gently. Going to mix up my base color first. So I'm going to take some green and white, and I'm going to add in a fair amount of yellow and a little bit of my warm brown. And you should come up with a nice green, sort of olivey. We want to make sure that it's not just right out of the bottle green. We want each green to be unique and different from each other. Okay, a little bit of water in there as well. Okay, and actually I'm going to use this brush in just a second, but let me grab my smallest brush first. I'm going to do my main stems here first with just a curved line like so, coming from one direction there, and then I'm going to do another one coming from the top down. Okay, very good. And then I'm gonna go back over that just a little bit to thicken up that line, make it nice and solid, but I do like to have sort of one swoop there for that initial line. Helps me create it a little bit more smoothly. And then I'm going to do some of these little lines coming from either side here. That's going to be the beginning of our little fronds. Palm fronds. Little guidepost to where we're going. Grab that medium brush again. And we're just going to do a leaf at the end of each one of these. You're just going to push down and then pull out again. So that is fatter there in the center. You want it to be pretty narrow where it meets the stem. Okay, like so. We'll just build it from the top down or the bottom up, either way. Nice solid green there. Okay. Just like so, always a little bit of water in my paint to help it go nice and smooth. I always like to start small. That way you can adjust as need be. It's much easier to make things bigger than it is to make them smaller. Okay, pretty long leaves there, but that's looking pretty good. Remember, you do not need to be perfect. No such thing as perfection, especially when we're doing these natural shapes like this. Lots of variations in nature. No Photoshop. And then I'm going to have one leaf coming from the end there too. Very cute. Like so. Okay, and it's looking pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing now for the next one. Just gonna adjust that real quick. Always feel free to go back and touch anything up that might need it. Okay. Very nice. I'm going to go from the top here to make my first leaf. So pretty. Oh, let's grab the smaller brush again for those first lines. Helps a little bit to keep it nice and narrow and to block them all out evenly. Okay. I think I'll mix up a little bit more here. Looking good. A little bit of white. There we go. Okay. Nice, graceful brush strokes. Very similar to bamboo. Shape here. Tropical shapes today. All right. And just going on the other side here as well. Nice. Okay, gonna thicken up that middle line just a little bit, and I think I would have maybe some leaf poking out the side there. Okay, it's looking good. Our first botanical of the painting for today. A little bit of highlights now. I'm going to grab that small brush again and try to bring a little bit of yellow in here. And also a little bit of white, and I'm just going to come into each leaf now and just do a quick swipe of the brush for a little bit of highlight, like so. And there should be some wet on wet blending happening there, hopefully, if your painting is still wet. And we'll go right down the middle with that highlight as well. Okay, this painting is all about layers. So one botanical at a time. All right, make sure that it's a lighter color, noticeably lighter. We just want a little bit of color variation there. Okay, that's looking good. Now we're gonna let this layer dry as well, and we'll come back with our final layer with our final tropical shape. So I'll see everyone in another couple minutes. Okay, welcome back, artists. We have a dry secondary layer, and then I also got some more fresh colors on my piece of palette paper here. So a little bit more white. I have some warm brown, a little bit of yellow, some more phthalo green, and some ultramarine blue. I rinsed my brushes and got fresh water at break as well. All right, let's go ahead and jump right back into it. So I'm gonna do now my third shape, which is going to be my Monstera Plant. So I'm going to use my smallest brush for that to start, and I'm going to sketch out the shape first with white. Okay, so I'm going to start right here, kind of in the center, and also where there's lots of kind of blank space beneath me. And I'm going to create a little tip here of the leaf at the end. Just going to curve out like so. And it's okay if it overlaps a little bit. We want to start layering things up. That's why we patiently let these layers dry. Then I'm going to bring it out and around like so. And then the leaves, I'm going to have a little scoop like so. Come out to the curve, and then I'll come down like this, and then repeat. Little scoop. Bringing it out, and you want to go a little bit further out with each leaf, like so, and we'll adjust this once we start filling in. Up and around, and then you're going to have a little scoop, like so, coming up to the curve. So, looking pretty good. Another scoop around, coming out further each time. All right, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna do a quick line down the center, and I'm going to do a few little holes, which is what that plant is known for. That's why it's called the Swiss cheese plant. But it's not Swiss, it's Mexican and tropical. So it fits the theme today, but I'm just gonna create a couple little circles and ovals in different places, and that's looking great. And you can choose what brush you'd like to fill that in with. I think I'm gonna start with my medium-sized brush though. I might need to use that smaller brush in a few places. I'm going to take my phthalo green, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of blue and a little bit of white, and this should give us a different tone of green than our palm fronds. A little bit of white there, and that's looking really nice, nice deep blue-green. And now I'm going to go right over those sketch lines. I'm gonna allow it to blend a little bit, that is okay. A little bit of white is gonna lighten things up a little bit, so we're coming in with a very saturated color. If your sketch lines are already dry, you can always add a little bit of highlights later, which we'll do in a minute as well. We just wanna go cover those sketch lines and go around those circles and cover up that white. All right, and once you get everything filled in each section, you can kind of come back and straighten out your brush strokes. You want it nice and consistent here. A little peekaboo through to the background. Looking good. Okay. Feel free to use your smaller brush if that gives you more control. Always just work with whatever you're comfortable with. These brushes came in a set, and they are both for watercolor or for acrylic, both water soluble. And it's really, really nice. These bristles are super soft. And you can get a pretty good point even with this medium size. But again, use whatever you feel comfortable with. Smaller brush is going to give you a little bit more control. But it's also going to take you longer. But we're not rushing when we're painting. That's for the rest of our life, right? In the Western world, at least, it's always rush, rush, rush. So no worries if you want to slow down a little bit today. I'm gonna mix up a little bit more. Very pretty color. All right. Always loved all tones of teal. It's my favorite. The combo of blue and green together. It's just gorgeous. Although I also just love all of the colors of the rainbow. And I love when paintings have all those colors, in case you haven't noticed. Although I will say this painting does not have black. Although it is complementary. Most of my paintings do use black, and I have always gone against the traditional art rules by enjoying putting a little bit of dark shadow in, a little bit darker than what they want, a little bit darker than what's realistic looking, but I like it. I like folk art. I like things that are bright and fun and stimulating to my eyeballs. If you're painting along today, then you probably do too, so you've got good taste. All right, this is looking very pretty. I just love the shape of these leaves. They are a classic. I have quite a few different things with this leaf as part of the pattern in my house, and I've always admired it, and I can't believe that I've not done painting yet of the Monstera. All right, and getting that all nice and filled in. Just like so. Look at how nice that shape looks. Now that we got it filled in with the green, I'm gonna grab a little bit of white here. And you may have gotten some nice highlights already, but if not, you can add some, or you can add some more. You just wanna go right down the center there and kind of just accentuate the curves where the light would hit. Look at how pretty that is. All right. Now just a few more shapes and we'll be finished. Hard part's over. Take a deep breath. We're gonna do a few more different leaves. Going to grab a little bit of blue here. And this is kind of fun. This is like deconstructing the colors of green here. So we're gonna have a blue leaf. And it's gonna be really simple and just come off the side here, sort of just like filler. Okay, and then choose one side to fill in with dark blue. And then we'll fill in the other side with just a slightly lighter blue, just by adding some white. Again, feel free to use your smaller brush if that feels better. Okay, a little bit of white in there for a lighter blue on the other side. I'm just going to cover the original blue there. Really simple, just keeping it simple there. Okay, and I'm gonna grab my smaller brush now for my last couple shapes. I'm going to take some of my beautiful sunny yellow and I'm going to do some bright yellow, sort of filler foliage as well. And I like to build these in the same way that I kind of built my palm fronds, by doing a line first like so, and then I'm just going to do little ovals. Looks kind of strange right now. Just at the end of each one. Maybe there's one coming off the edge there. And a little bit of white is going to help you with that opacity of your yellow. And you kind of want it to curve there into the stem, more so than you want it to look like a lollipop. So a little bit of curve there along the edges. We had palm fronds, we had our Monstera, and now we just have fantasy plants. Not sure what type of plant this actually would be. Okay, just getting that filled in with yellow. All right, and just like all of our shapes, we'll add a little bit of highlight, but since that yellow is still drying, let's just give it 1 second. I think when we add our white on top, it'll be easier. It's a little bit drier, so that we'll get more contrast again, because that yellow paint doesn't have very much opacity. It's not very opaque. It's a see-through. Okay, but I'm gonna do the same thing up in this corner, and you can really customize yours as well, again, however you like to do it. But these are just the shapes that I'm going with today. Doesn't have to look exactly like mine. You can work with your own composition. Alright, just coming from either side, same idea as the last one. Not too concerned about perfection, letting those shapes just be natural, but getting some good coverage with my paint so that it's not see-through. Okay. Composition looking very nice. Nice and filled in. Do a little touch of brown here and there as well, just for some nice kind of earthy filler. I'm going to take my burnt sienna and mix it up with some white. And I'm going to just add a few little brush strokes here and there, just like so. And you can kind of frame things or just fill out any empty space still that needs it. Okay, not getting a very solid edge there, so I'm gonna come back in. I know my hand blocks it sometimes, but hopefully the step-by-step coming together of everything still makes sense. One day I will invest in a whole proper studio rather than just the camera phone winging it. Make sure to subscribe so you can help me get there. All right. Yeah, I think I'll do a few coming from over here as well. Really simple. Kind of like building a bouquet, right? Got our different colors, our different textures. Okay, gonna grab a little bit of dark brown now. And I'm gonna go right along those same lines just to solidify this shape. Get another layer on there and add some variation, some shadow. Okay. Looking good. Gonna grab some white now for kind of our final touches. Just a clean brush here with white, and I'm going to come into my yellow and add a few highlights in there. It's going to be pretty subtle. I see a little bit of see-throughness still, so I'm gonna kind of try to cover that with my white as I go in there. Okay. And finally some very, very light brown as a highlight here. For a little filler. If you painted along today, I would love to see your work. I've created a Facebook group called the Art Club that is designed for that very purpose. There's a link below to join. Can't wait to see what you're creating. All right, looking pretty good. And that is all the instruction that I have for everyone this week. So let me know what you thought of today's painting in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. Please hit like if you like this painting. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, stay creative.